So in this video I would like to show you how to make peyote bands that have holes in them. If you have a broad pattern, it may actually be interesting to set some accents where you can see through the bead fabric and look at, for example, your skin on your wrist through a bracelet. Here's another example. To keep this short, I already prepared a bit of a bead band, and so if you watch the video on symmetrical peyote, you should already be familiar with making this kind of band that is just a solid pattern. So at this point I want to make a hole that is rimmed with red beads, and so far it's just been a regular peyote stitch, but at this point I need to start making my hole. So this is actually the up thread, and I'm going to put another red border bead in place. And normally I would put another bead right here, but of course now I want this to be the side of my hole, so I'm going to just stitch past it, come out at the bead above, going to put in another red border bead, and finish my row. I'm at the top, so my turn is easy. I'm going to go down. And I want my hole to be one set larger, so again I'm going to stitch a red border bead in place. And again, this is supposed to be my opening, so I'm going to go through all of these beads. And you can probably see at this point you can make holes to a certain opening, but this is taking it about as far as it can, because you'll always have to stitch through all the beads on the side, and so you can only pass through a bead maybe 5-6 times. When you try to do it more often, there's going to be so much thread in your bead that the hole is just not going to work, and you're probably going to crack some of these beads that have to take most of the thread. So going to go through the rest of my border here. Again, this is a symmetrical pattern, so I'm going to put one more in place, finish out my row, and then because this is the bottom side, I will have to do a turn, which we already learned in the symmetrical peyote instructions. Going through here, reverse direction, and get my way back up. So at this point I've decided, this is fairly thick thread. I think I'm going to close up and I'm going to finish my bead hole. So hang on, this is a blue. There we go. So now I'm going to contract. And so because I want to be symmetrical, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red beads on this side. I need to thread 5 beads here to make up for the other side. So there are my 5 beads. Gonna fix them to the top bead all in one. And right now this is looking kind of weird because, the hole is kind of lopsided, but I promise it's going to even out as you continue working. Do a return. Go down. And now I'm going to replicate this blue bead that's sitting here on this side. There we go. But of course this bead right now is actually sitting underneath this one here. So I can't add any more beads right now. I will simply stitch through the rest of this until I come out at the bottom. I'm going to add my blue bead here that evens the pattern out right there, see? And then I'm going to do my quick turn. And I'm going to be on my way back up. And now this time I'm in the process of putting this blue bead here on this side. So I can do that. The rest, again, I have to go through all of the beads there. So you can see the pass-throughs that I had here with this bead taking most of the thread. I'm going to have the same situation here. I'm going to finish up my row. And I'm going to turn again to move down. Here we go. And here I can finally put my last blue bead in, right there. Go through the corner bead one more time. And I'll do the same down here. And now you can see our hole has kind of opened up. It's kind of diamond shaped on both sides. And all I need to do on the Yap row is to actually put a blue bead here, and I have the whole hole embedded in my bead pattern. So another down. Turn around. And this is just your normal row where you don't do anything fancy. You just keep beading up with blue beads all the way to the top, which I think I may not be able to do because I'm running out of thread here. There we go. There you go. And then you would basically just take the rest of the beads all the way up to the top. And that's how you can make holes in beads. You can even have several holes going at the same time. For example, you could make another one going here, another one going there. So you can make a really interesting woven type pattern by just getting these openings into a bead band and, you know, mix up your pattern a little bit. So that's peyote with holes.